Snakes are often regarded as being around the very top of the food chain, but sometimes even these slithery reptiles bite off more than they can chew. Certain animals don't like abiding by the laws of nature, from a rooster stomping the life out of a cobra, to a cat defying all odds to protect her kittens, and a freshly hatched iguana outlasting swarms of snakes. Here are 12 times snakes mess with the wrong opponents. You'd think that a snake could have easily gotten the best of a rooster, but roosters are extremely territorial of their homes. A rooster will go so far as to sacrifice its own life to protect its flock. So going guns a-blazing inside this rooster's home turf wasn't such a good idea for this cobra. A rooster in India showed some real pluck when it obliterated a cobra that was trying to attack its flock. The snake tried desperately to catch a breath, but the rooster never gave it a chance, constantly pecking at it with no remorse. After carrying the snake away from the rest of the chickens, the rooster ended up swallowing it whole. Snapping turtles are as ferocious as they come. Their bite packs a punch of about 209 Newton. So if you're not good at science, just take our word when we tell you that you wouldn't want to go on the receiving end of this, unless you're into having your limbs chopped off. This turtle in particular was having none of the snake's shenanigans when it snapped the snake's head clean off. You could argue that the snake brought it upon itself when it crawled into the turtle's mouth.
Before we move on, we've got a speed challenge for you. If you subscribe to Facts Junkie and hit the bell icon in the next 5 seconds, you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Give it a shot. It actually works.
There's nothing more dangerous than a mother trying to protect her children. This cat was not playing around when a full-grown python slithered dangerously close to the cave where she was living with her litter. First, the cat lets out a few roars to warn the snake. But once the snake enters the cave, the mother cat goes into full combat mode. She jumps out of the cave and throws jab after jab at the snake's face. The snake backs away and makes a last-ditch effort to try and enter the cave from the top. But the cat grabs hold of its head and desperately claws at it. The snake has had enough of the embarrassment and runs away. Cottontail rabbits have been a long-time favorite snack for snakes and other predators. This is because they are virtually helpless when it comes to combat. They are slow and weak. But this rabbit in particular took its reputation to heart. When a snake wandered into her burrow and grabbed hold of her offspring, this mama rabbit wasn't about to let all the hard work that went into raising her babies go to waste by becoming the snake's lunch. As soon as she hears her babies squeak, this rabbit jumps into action. She drags the snake out of her nest and starts kicking it into a living pulp. The snake tries to crawl away, but cannot catch a break from the rabbit's kicks. Rabbits have incredibly strong legs and can seriously injure someone with their kicks. The snake eventually breaks away and tries to escape. But this fight was going to end on the rabbit's terms. She grabs a hold of the snake again and again. Every time it escapes, she viciously kicks it. The honey badger is notoriously one of the most violent animals on the planet. Despite their tiny size, they're the most ferocious mammals around. They frequently go up against much larger prey, such as lions and hyenas. This time, it was a snake that fell victim to honey badger violence. The snake gets off to a great start, going for the head of the badger, but the badger quickly recovers. The snake, realizing its mistake, tries to slither away, but the honey badger uses its claws to drag the snake towards itself. Then it delivers one powerful bite after another to the snake's head. Eventually, the badger incapacitates the snake and bites off its head. The Indian spectacled cobra can grow up to more than 7 feet in length. Their venom can kill a human in less than 30 minutes. In the opposite corner is a mongoose, which at first glance may look like a weasel. The similarity in appearance is what usually tricks snakes into falling victim to the mongoose. But trust us when we say this. A mongoose is the furthest thing from a weasel. They use their razor-sharp teeth to cut through their opponents. As the snake makes its way towards the mongoose, it lets out a few hisses to scare it away. But the snake persists and makes a few failed attempts to bite the mongoose. However, when the mongoose attacks, it doesn't miss. The mongoose grabs the snake with its mouth and slams it repeatedly on the ground. It was game over for the snake before you knew it. Rats are traditionally the go-to prey for snakes. They're even used by people who keep snakes as pets to feed them. When a snake tries to run off with a baby rat in its mouth, this mama rat doesn't hold back. She immediately springs into action and bites the snake right on its tail and doesn't let go. We can't say the same thing for the snake, because as soon as the rat bites it, the snake drops the baby right there and makes a run for it. This is very unusual for a snake because they usually devour their prey on the spot unless they're disturbed. Eagles are one of the very few animals that, despite not being immune to snake venom, regularly hunt them. When this eagle swooped in from the sky, the clock started ticking for this spectacled cobra. Even though the cobra tried to put up a fight, it was no match for the sheer strength of the eagle. The eagle held the snake down with its sharp claws, known as talons, and kept pecking constantly at the snake's head. And in a matter of just a few minutes, the poor snake's head was looking more like my grandma's cranberry sauce at the end of Thanksgiving dinner. According to rumors, experts are still trying to figure out what made this python want to take on an alligator. The python starts off by trying to bite the snake, but it finds no luck with this because of the alligator's thick and scaly skin. Once this fails, the python resorts to wrapping itself around the alligator, but the gator puts up a fight and delivers a few powerful bites. The snake gives up and leaves, but it's an A for effort. This baby iguana has left millions of people all over the world in utter shock. Where human babies can't even drink water until they're a year old, this baby iguana fights off hundreds of snakes right after hatching. This baby iguana was faced with the ultimate challenge when it had to make its way through a field swarming with snakes to find safety. The iguana starts off its journey on a good note, being careful not to make sudden movements so as not to alert the snakes. But all it took was one mistake and hundreds of snakes made their way out from under rocks and caves towards the iguana. The freshly hatched lizard made a run for it, jumping over rocks and avoiding snakes while at it. But soon enough, not one but 4 snakes started to coil their bodies around the iguana. Nevertheless, the lizard didn't give up and fought its way out of the snake's strong grip. The snakes tried to chase after the iguana, but it had already gotten the best of them. The iguana eventually climbed to safety out of the snake's reach. Hedgehogs aren't the first word that comes to mind after hearing the word vicious. But vicious is exactly what you would describe this tiny rodent as. When face to face with a viper, this hedgehog doesn't back down. Instead, it puffs up its body and spikes up to its razor-sharp spines. The snake makes one bad move, and the hedgehog bites its head clean off. Without even the shadow of a doubt, the mantis is one of the most effective killers in the insect world. This tiny green insect is born equipped with all the necessary tools that are needed in order to be a natural-born killer. With limbs covered with sharp spikes to hold prey in place and 5 eyes, 3 in the middle and 2 on either side of its triangular head, the mantis can detect any movements. This snake might have not known all of this when it slithered straight into a mantis's territory. The mantis grabbed hold of the reptile and starts chowing down on the snake while it's still alive. Alright, comment down below which of these snake encounters you found the unluckiest. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Facts Junkie, and we'll see you in the next one.